Hey, what's up, everybody? I want to welcome you to another episode of the Dreamerspro Daily Recap, where we give you a recap of all of the hot topics that we covered that day. You can catch them in their long format and also catch it fully streaming for free on Apple Podcasts. Last week, I believe it was last week, we got the news, or the week prior to that Skip Bayless was leaving undisputed. Everyone reacted to it. But the one person that we were all waiting to hear from was Stephen A. Smith, right? We were waiting to hear what Stephen A. Smith had to say. And last week, I believe it was Thursday or so, either Thursday or Friday, one of those days, he published a show on his podcast, the Stephen A. Smith Show, where he dedicated about a 15-minute segment reacting to the news about Skip Bayless leaving or being fired from Undisputed. He went through their history, what it was like to work together. And he also kind of explained, he also kind of silenced some of the rumors out there about people talking about could there be a potential of Skip Bayless possibly returning to ESPN First Take to work in a role kind of similarly to the way Stephen A. Smith was brought on to First Take, right? So Stephen A. Smith addressed all of that. But then he got to another particular point in his monologue where he spoke about really the elephant in the room. In terms of Skip possibly making a return on ESPN First Take, which is the dynamic that exists between Skip Bayless and Shannon Sharpe. If you guys remember well, it didn't really end well on the show. They had some major blowups. I think in 2022, if I'm not mistaken, the year they left each other, 2022 or 2023 or something. I think it was last year, actually. They had some major blowups together on television over the Damar Hamlin situation. Of course, they had the Tom Brady one, which was pretty messy. So they broke up, and then Shannon Sharpe ultimately left the network and went to work at ESPN First Take with Stephen A. Smith. And ever since he got there, it was all on up and up. But what surprised me was the following. As Stephen A. Smith was talking about that, he basically said that in no way, shape, or form would he ever consider bringing Skip back to ESPN, given the relationship or the fractured relationship that Skip Bayless has with Shannon Sharpe. And I was like, wow, that's pretty telling, right? That's pretty telling, because if you listen to Stephen A. Smith before that, he spoke about all of the stuff that Skip Bayless did for him in terms of putting him in a position to be able to springboard his career off of his own merit and off of his own hard work. So what we'd like to do now, we'd like to play exactly what Stephen A. Smith had to say in regards to Skip Bayless possibly returning to ESPN First Take, and more importantly, him choosing Shannon Sharpe over Skip Bayless. So take a listen to Stephen A. Smith here, and we'll come back and react to his comments. Take a listen to him here.
I'd be remiss, however, in neglecting to bring this part up about Skip Bayless and not being on First Take. I wish him well. I want him to land on his feet. He ever needs my help in any other way, I'm happy to help him. But I ain't gonna front, y'all. I wouldn't do that to my man Shannon Sharpe either. That's right, I said it. See, Shannon Sharpe and I used to be contemporaries. We're now friends. We're now brothers. I wouldn't do that to him. I wouldn't even call and ask him. You can't have the kind of separation that they have, and I'm going to be a part of that coming on First Take. No. But it's not just Shannon. You know, there's a whole bunch of people that contribute to the success of my day job, First Take on ESPN.
So you heard what Stephen A. Smith had to say there. What are my thoughts about this? I think from a business standpoint, I think is a no-brainer. Now, there'll be some excitement if Skip Bayless were to come back to the show, but I think it'll be a momentary excitement. I don't think Skip is as interesting as he used to be before, right? For whatever reason. Maybe it's his age, maybe, I don't know, changing the times or whatever the hell it is. A few years ago, Skip Bayless was still Skip Bayless. These days, he doesn't seem to have that same bite when it comes to giving his opinion on these talk shows. And if you had to think about who he would choose, if you had to choose between Shannon Sharpe and Skip Bayless, would you risk messing up what he has with Shannon Sharpe? I think it's a no-brainer. Shannon Sharpe really helped take ESPN First Take to a whole different level. When he was there, you could notice a considerable bump in their viewers, right? In the daily viewers. Like it went from 400,000 or something like that on some days to like 800,000 on other days. So Shannon Sharpe clearly has star power. He's also exhibited the ability to be able to make a lot of money for ESPN. Is one of the reasons they extended his contract. So he's going to be working with ESPN now. So to me, I think it was a no-brainer for them to bring him over there. And I think Stephen A. Smith is being an astute businessman by saying that, look, we're going to take the sentimentality out of it and just focus on it from, a business standpoint. And there's no way in hell I would risk alienating or making Shannon Sharpe feel uncomfortable to where he would leave the show or not be comfortable working there. And then you risk your ratings, because if you know anything about Stephen A. Smith, he's all about his ratings, and he's gonna let you know that he number one every single chance that he gets. And whatever opportunity arises, he's gonna let y'all know that, look, I'm still the top dog here, right? So to me, I think that's just smart on his part. Secondly, I don't think Skip Bayless would even want to go back to ESPN First Take. I think Skip Bayless is someone that has a very big ego, and you can understand why he does. He's been on top of the game for so long. He's been one of the biggest voices in sports media for decades. So it would be, I don't know if Skip Bayless would view it like it would be beneath him to come in on a role where he's just contributing maybe once or twice a week and then he leaves. I don't know if that's something that Skip Bayless would be interested in, quite honestly. Skip's leaving the show, I think, mid-August. So we don't know what Skip Bayless is going to do. We don't know if Skip Bayless is going to hang it up and say, look, I'm done talking sports. I'm going to move on and do something else. There are more interesting things happening in the world, and this is not something that I want to do right now. Or is Skip Bayless going to have the itch to say, you know what, I want to come back. I want to continue to talk sports. We don't know what our plans are, and we don't even know if that's something that he's interested in. I think Stephen A. Smith just kind of put that message out there to kind of just quench all of the flames immediately and say, look, for those of you that are even wondering whether or not this may be a possibility of me bringing in Skip and then having this whole Shannon Sharpe dynamic and me being in the middle of it, he said there's no way, shape, or form. And hey, if that's what he wants to do, I respect his position, and it makes sense to me from a business standpoint. So I remember it like it was yesterday. I remember Kobe winning his 5th NBA championship in 2010. And I remember the Lakers and these guys being on top of the world. And then I remember the summer free agency of LeBron James, right? Where he had to make his decision. And I remember all of the people speculating on whether he would go to this team, stay in this team, go over there, go over there, go over there. But when LeBron went on TV and had that televised news conference or whatever it was, where he declared that he's going to be going to the Miami Heat to go play alongside Dwayne Wade and Chris Bosh. I mean, you could literally feel the energy in the sports world change like that. He went from being a figure that some people liked to a figure that the entire NBA hated. Not just LeBron James. They also didn't like Dwayne Wade. And they also didn't like the Miami Heat. If I had to put it in order, it would be LeBron, the Miami Heat, and then Dwayne Wade. The NBA really, really did not like that move. You even had people like Michael Jordan and all of these other former greats saying he's more into beating these guys. He wouldn't want to compete. Like, a lot of people were against it. A lot of people were against it, including the fans. Everybody hated it because they thought that these guys just ruined basketball. Now, why do they feel that way? At the time, you had a finals MVP in Dwayne Wade, who had just come off of a season where he led the league in scoring, although his team didn't have a good record. You had a guy in Chris Bosh who was perennially leading his team to the playoffs, who was a 20-10 guy. And then you had a guy in LeBron James, who some was saying was the best or second best player, whatever it is in the world at the time, coming off of a loss in the Eastern Conference Finals. And then you pair these three guys together, and essentially everybody was saying that you're bringing these three guys together in their prime. This is unfair. This is not basketball anymore, right? And they were hated for it. But then something interesting happened. I tuned into an episode of Carmelo Anthony, 7 p.m. or 7 a.m. in Brooklyn or something like that. Actually, let me get it right. Let me give him the proper just due. It is 7 p.m. In Brooklyn. So he's on there, and he has his former Olympic teammate and friend, Dwayne Wade, on the show. And Dwayne Wade is there talking about his career. He's talking about the differences between Kobe and LeBron, all of these different things. And then they asked him to kind of take us behind the curtains of what that process was like, you know, him being the man of the Miami Heat and that city to now bringing in LeBron James and now trying to take on a role player's role or something like that, or be the Robin to his Batman and all of that. And he was discussing the difficulty of what that decision entailed and how everybody didn't want it. And then he got to the end, he was like, nobody wanted this move. Even the NBA, even NBA fans for basketball, everybody hated this move. So for those of you who didn't hear what Dwayne Wade had to say, want to play for you now, and then we're going to come back and react to his comments. Take a listen to Dwayne Wade here.
I mean, yeah, we got an opportunity to realize we can play together. Like, it took me to really compress my ego big time. And I didn't even have a huge ego because I didn't always grow up a star. Right. I grew up a role player who eventually became a star because of my work and because of my opportunity and my moments. But I had to go right back to that. And it was in Miami, where I had built Wade County. I turned a city into a hoop city with my teammates, and it's not just me. But that was hard. I ain't gonna lie. It was tough. But man, you know what? I was like, I feel like that was the best move for me to make to get the things I wanted out of the game. And what I wanted out of the game was I wanted them Larry O'Brien trophies, man.
Yes. You know what I'm saying?
I wanted it because I already had one. And I knew that feeling. And I was like, I need that again. And so this is gonna be my best moment in my career with free agency where I control it, where I could put myself in the best position to get that again.
Right.
And so the sacrifice was made individually. And to play with, you know, one of the GOATs in our game in the city that I have built, you know, worked hard to build it and finally get my own. But it was bigger. It's in my mind at that time, I made sense out of it. I'm not Serena. I'm not a tennis player. It's not an individual sport. It's about the team. It's about what you ultimately want. And this is the best opportunity to get that. And so you're going to figure it out.
Coming from, you said like being like coming from Marquette and being like, you know, underrated and, you know, did that help in making that sacrifice? You know what I'm saying?
My personality, first of all, how I am in life, it helps. You know what I mean? Like you got to know who you are. And so I knew that my personality, even though I have an alpha personality, I also understand how to, you know, look at perspective and look on the other side and move to the side. Like I got that ability to be able to sometimes take a break and look, you know what I'm saying, around and see. Some people who are so great, they just looking this way. And I got the ability to be able to stop, you know what I mean, and make a different decision. And so, yeah, was it tough as hell? Yeah, it was tough. But also, too, I think I was the perfect person to play that role. It ain't a lot of people that can play that role. Bron is an amazing player, but you got to learn, you got to work around him.
Right.
And to work with him. And so, as you've seen, the first years we were together, we did everything together.
Right.
We did every interview together, every press conference. Every time you seen him, you seen me. Because we had to be so lockstep because I knew everybody was going. Nobody wanted it. My team didn't want it. My family didn't want it. They were pissed. Bron team didn't want it. No one wanted that to happen. The game of basketball didn't want it to happen. So I made sure I linked myself with Bron even more because I knew we had to be so tight, or it was going to be a failure.
So you heard what Dwayne Wade had to say. Now, what he didn't mention there, but it was something that he mentioned in the past when he had a sit down with Paul Gasol and some other NBA great. I think Dirk Nowitzki was there. I think Steve Nash was there. What he didn't reveal in this particular soundbite was the motivation. He spoke about wanting to win a ring and all of that, but he didn't really get to the heart of why he wanted to do that. You know, there's this conversation or this saying that goes around in the NBA where it's like, the Warriors joined. No. The Warriors begged KD to join them because they knew they couldn't beat LeBron, right? In the finals, right? Although they already beat him, but he said they knew they couldn't beat LeBron. So they needed to get him out of fear of knowing they can't beat LeBron. Well, the reason that these guys decided to join together was because there was a day when Dwayne Wade had just finished watching Kobe Bryant win his 5th championship. And they were like, the only way we're going to be able to catch Kobe is that we need to find a way to cheat the process. And we need to come together in order to be able to catch Kobe and stop him from winning championships. So that's what we need to do. For those of you who don't believe that Dwayne Wade said that, and that was the real motivation behind this move, take a listen to Dwayne Wade here.
I remember cutting my TV off as soon as when Kobe ran and grabbed that ball. I was like, LeBron.
All right, bro. Especially losing against them before. CV, whatever.
I ain't lying to you. I'm not lying to you. I cut the TV off when I watched that and I watched Kobe run and grab the ball and celebrate. I was like, so what you gonna do? That was our summer free agency. They were dominating. Like Kobe was winning all these rings. I was like, wait, hold on. Now he got 5 and we got 1? Like, no. So yeah, that was a.
It's great how
I'll change the league.
How he
I want
created.
y'all to know that.
Yeah, no, thank you. No, we're proud of that. Yeah.
So you heard Dwayne Wade himself. Ultimately, I think this decision of LeBron going to the Miami Heat, I think it was a net negative. That may sound a little bit controversial, but I'll tell you why. Some people are like, how can it be a net negative for LeBron? He won 2 championships. Yes, he did win 2 championships, but overall, it was a failure. And I'll tell you why. Going into that move, when they made that move, you had a finals MVP and a guy that just led the league in scoring. You had a 20-10 guy in Chris Bosh. You had a guy in what's his name? You had a guy in LeBron James himself, who was people arguing is he the best player in the world. Then you had other players like Eddie House, and I don't think James Posey was on that team. I forgot all the different players that they had. I think Shane Battier was on that team, Udonis Haslem, and all of these guys, right? And the Miami Heat were so confident. They were so confident in the team that they built that not only did LeBron feel like they could win the next championship, he felt that they would win the next 7 championships. The next 7. Not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, not 5, not 6, not. They knew what they did. They knew they had created an unfair playing ground. They knew that. So you were so confident that you were going to win 7 championships. 7. In your first year, you go to the NBA Finals and you have the biggest meltdown by any superstar one can argue in the history of sports. LeBron did. I saw it. It was epic. If you saw that series, the way Jason Terry, Sean Marion, and these dudes were talking to LeBron, these dudes were abusing him. This is a prime LeBron James, 26, 27, being verbally abused by these dudes. It was crazy, right? So you lose that finals, and then your legacy that was supposed to take this big hit ended up take this big jump, took a massive hit. Massive hit. Then you go to the next finals and then you win. Then I think you win another one and then you get blown out in the 4th finals by a record margin by the San Antonio Spurs. Overall, I don't see how you can say that was a great run. As a matter of fact, one of the reasons some people still hold out for LeBron being called the greatest player, being compared to Michael Jordan, was his 2011 series. As you guys know, I think LeBron is playing in his 21st or 22nd season. LeBron been playing for a long ass time, right? Playing for a long ass time. And to his credit, he's been playing at a very high level at this advanced age. LeBron is going to be 40 years old this season. 40 years old. And he's still playing, right? Still trucking on, still pushing on. And some people, applaud him for being able to do it this long. But there are some people that actually find some of what LeBron's doing to be a little bit comical and a little bit funny. And one of those people is Carmelo Anthony. Now, if you guys know anything about Carmelo Anthony and LeBron, they both came in the same draft class in 2003, along with Dwayne Wade. They're good friends. I think they were part of that banana boat crew or whatever it was with him, Chris Paul, or whatever the hell it is. They've gone on vacation together. And Carmelo's always been protective of LeBron James. Now, if you know anything about Carmelo, he's from the East Coast. I think he's from Brooklyn or whatever. I know he grew up in Bmore, went to school in Bmore, whatever it was. And he has a certain kind of, sensibility about him. Carmelo Anthony is a dude that, based on some of the things that he said, he's the kind of guy that is the guy that if he's in a room, the energy's tense. He's the ice. He'll break the ice. He spoke about when he was on the Olympic team with Kobe Bryant. Kobe Bryant was a little bit more standoffish. And he would be the guy that would kind of bring Kobe into the fold. Like, yo, what are you doing over there? Like, come over here. They're like, what? So he's that type of person, right? Just seems like a, funny dude or whatever. So him and Dwayne Wade are talking about LeBron playing at this age or whatever. So Carmelo Anthony is over there like, yo, like what, like, yo, this is ridiculous, right? He wasn't saying it in the sense like it's ridiculous, like it's amazing what he's doing. He was saying it like, yo, it's ridiculous, like, yo, bro, what are you doing? It's like it's enough. You can come on, like, you come on home. You can relax, like it's okay, right? And he was like snapping on LeBron for like a good minute or so, right? And then towards the end, he got like, he just kind of cleaned it up. But the way he was talking, I get a sense that if Carmelo sees LeBron, this is the exact same way he would talk to him if he saw him in person. Like, yo, bro, like, yo, son, what are you doing? Like, you mad? Oh, like, yo, come on, like, it's enough, right? Which was pretty hilarious. So what we want to do now is want to play exactly what Carmelo had to say about LeBron to D Wade, and then want to come back and react to his comments. Take a listen to Carmelo Anthony here.
Back then, man, playing LeBron, is there any way in your mind that you thought, yo, this guy's still going to be playing in 2024? He's still going to be hooping. He's going his son is going to get drafted.
Come on over. Come on over, champ. The son is here, baby. Bring over this side, champ. Enough. Like,
come on, dog.
What are you doing?
I mean, we got to laugh everything on this side for you,
Tom
my G.
Brady this thing, man.
No, we've never seen it.
Right.
You don't.
We
think
saw
that.
it. Kevin Willis.
Well, you know, at this.
He said Kevin Willis.
No,
you're right. We saw Kevin Willis play, what, 21 years, something like that?
Robert Parrish
21?
played 30 years out of the 75 of the NBA.
Oh, yeah. But
we ain't see it at a level.
Yeah.
I was just saying, that level you can't sustain that.
So you don't see that, and you definitely don't think 27-7. You don't think you're gonna just be that.
You encouraging him to keep playing?
Me?
Yeah. Tell him, bro, come on, man.
Come on.
Hey, man, listen, I love watching him play basketball.
Nah, that's a fact. I
love watching him play basketball,
I love
man.
him to death.
You know what I mean? Because you the one thing you know about the game is, he's obviously blessed by the man above, that his body, outside of all the things he personally do, you got to be a little lucky too.
Right.
You got to be blessed. So he's definitely blessed with the man above, with them genetics, with his body to be able to hold up. But outside of that, it's the mental that is impressive to be able to go this long and be that great. Because the work that you got to do year after year after year, when you lose a step every time, he's obviously conquering it.
And he's not going to cheat the game.
No, he don't cheat the game.
So it works.
Yeah.
So you heard what Carmelo Anthony had to say. I thought it was hilarious, right? I thought it was hilarious. But it makes me think about, why is LeBron still playing? Now, I think that there's a question, there's a variable that LeBron is playing because he still loves to play basketball. I think it's the same reason you can ask the same question, why is Cristiano Ronaldo still playing football? I think that there is an element of that truth being there, that if I can still play, I can still play at a high level, then why not? I'm going to continue to play. But I think that there's also another element of, beyond the fact that you're going to make more money the longer you play, receiving NBA checks. But I think the other reality is that it's what comes along with playing longer. By extending your career and playing longer, you're increasing the chances of you accomplishing more things. And in the case, for example, in a Cristiano Ronaldo, one of the things he doesn't have is a World Cup, right? That's the one thing still missing on his resume. So you can say, well, he's still trying to play to get a World Cup. In the case of LeBron, he already has championships. He's already won everything he could win, possibly. But there's always an argument, well, he's still trying to add to his greatness and still continue to compile statistics. And what I think LeBron has realized is that the more statistics he's able to accumulate, the more it helps his GOAT argument in the eyes of some. For instance, when he passed Kareem Abdul-Jabbar in the all-time leading scorer, some people felt like, man, this guy got to be the GOAT. Or when he passed 40,000 points, this guy got to be the GOAT, right? There are people out there that feel like with everything that he achieves, he's coming closer and edging closer and closer and closer to Jordan. There are some people that believe that. And then there are other people like, no, this is nothing. Like, this doesn't mean anything. Because some people say what Jordan accomplished in his 15-year career is greater than what probably any other NBA players accomplished. So Jordan accomplished more in less time, right? So Jordan has that working in his favor, where it's like, I don't need to spend all this time doing what you're doing. I can do more than you in less time, so you can continue to spend your time like hustling, bustling, running up and down the hall, running up and down the court. But I'm chilling. I saw a video of Michael Jordan stepping off of his 100-foot or whatever, 200-foot, 300-foot, whatever the hell it was, $100 million yacht in Monaco, just living his best life, right? Net worth creeping up to $4 billion, just living his best life, right? And I think Jordan walked away from the NBA feeling like, bro, I dominated these dudes. They like, I didn't leave because they stopped me. I left because like I got bored with it. Like they couldn't beat me. They couldn't stop me. They couldn't stop me. And the matter of fact, when Jordan got an All-Star, think about this. The moment he got an All-Star, he only lost one playoff series. Again, that was it. The minute Jordan got one All-Star, he only lost one playoff series for the rest of his career. One. Kobe can't say that. LeBron can't say that. Tim Duncan can't say that. None of these guys can say that. Jordan can. He only lost one playoff series when he had at least one All-Star. That's all. Just one. And I think the Bulls went for an 8-year stretch where he lost no more than 2 games. Like, so Jordan dominated at a level where when he was done, there was no doubt remaining. In the case of LeBron, there's still a lot of doubt. Like a lot of doubt. The only people that feel like LeBron's the GOAT are LeBron fans. That's it. That's all. But if you ask a general basketball fan who's the greatest player of all time, they'll tell you it's Michael Jordan. If you ask the casual person that doesn't even watch basketball, who's the greatest basketball player of all time, they'll say Michael Jordan. So Jordan has that going in his favor. So yes, do I believe that the love of the game is there? LeBron has it, the passion for the game, does he enjoy playing? Yes. But I also believe that there is a factor of trying to compile stats and add more stats and continue to add more stats in order to use it as a way to say, hey, look, man, I found a way to somehow catch Jordan or something or surpass him.